Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today is going to be an episode we film. We're going to show you kind of how to do something. Now, one, do not just watch this video and then go try this. Watch a lot of videos, see a lot of people's method, talk to people that do it in real life. If you have somebody close by that can help you do it the first time, I highly recommend that. That being said, we're going to show you how we do this. And what that is we have a little snake here who is behind, okay? It hasn't taken to food very well. Come here, little one. And it hasn't started eating on its own since it was hatching. Its body condition and weight has started to deteriorate, and it's at the point that we need to do something about that. Typically, when I need to do something about that on a snake this size, I'll start with a frozen thawed or a pre-killed rat pink. Right here. It's a little cold, we're gonna warm it up. Warming it up. You're probably saying, why is it in a cup of water? I should have used warmer water. That would have helped this situation, but I didn't think to. The water for me acts like a lubricant. So it helps to get this started into the snake's jaw, and that lubricant will help it swallow. So we're going to try first to do what I call an assist feed, which is going to be where we're going to help this snake begin to swallow this rodent. And hopefully, once that is started, the snake will finish the job on its own. We may have to try 2 or 3 times to get that to happen at different levels of how far we started. And if that doesn't work, we may end up having to eventually do a force feed. I'm hoping not. And if we have to do a force feed, I'll use a smaller rodent than this one. All right, he's still wet. So you simply try to grab the snake right in here. It's going to fight you a little bit. Obviously, it ain't going to like this. This will also show you how tame these guys are, because I'll do all this and probably will not even get struck at. Once you get it where you want, not blocking the throat, because it's got to go down there, right? I usually find I have better luck if the rodent's upside down. You just kind of rub it on the nose. Oh, you're going to twist on me. Come on now. You're making this more stressful than it needs to be. Come on, little buddy. Sometimes you need to hold the back end of that snake. If you have 2 people, it makes it helpful because they can kind of hold that back end and give you just less to worry about as you kind of straighten things out. Kurt's like, stop moving so much. This is going to make the camera angle hard. Come on, little one. And if I was gripping this thing tighter, it'd have less chance to run, but I tend not to grip it too tight. One, because I just don't want to hurt it. So you like to get that nose started down in there, okay? Then I like to just use a little bit of constant pressure. Sometimes I stab myself with a tooth. I don't really much worry about that. And I want that snake to only have one direction it can go. And that is forward. This one had an injury, apparently, because its skull is not helping me out at all. Not the snake, the rodent. Okay, once we get the head in there, we can simply lock the teeth. I want to go a little bit farther, just because. If I can get those front shoulders to start in, lock the teeth, a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to lock that jaw in. We're going to give it a little bit of a yank back so it's in the teeth. We're just going to set this snake down. And we're going to see if it'll start taking it on its own. There's a good chance it won't. There's a good chance it's going to kick that back out, and I'm going to have to start this process again. It's really important right now to not move a lot. Try to keep things as calm as possible. It's sitting there with it in its mouth right now is a really good sign. It's not trying to force it out yet. So we're just going to be calm and watch what happens. That's a good sign too. That's not as good. That twisting and trying to back out, there's a good chance it's going to pop that back out. If it does, we'll try again. But it's not too violently doing it, which is also a sign that it may end up getting this done after all. That heavy breathing is okay. It's still trying to figure out what's going on. It's had a stressful day. Sometimes you get a little of this and then It's hooked in there enough, they just decide to take it. He is trying to get rid of it. Come on, little buddy. It's better in than out. And again, this is a process that seems like the first time you do it, especially, you're going to feel like you're being very, very mean and really manhandling it. And in some ways, you kind of are. But the alternative is, if the snake doesn't take food, it'll eventually die. I mean, that's the fact. And I hear people say all the time, well, you should never have to assist feed. It's natural selection, and if it's knocking on its own, that snake should die. But let's remember, we're not exactly cramming in its natural food item here, okay? They would probably be feed on African soft furs, and actually I have tried one of those with it. A really cool shot there where you can see the tube below open up to breathe air. How neat is that? But I feel like I bred these. I kind of brought this thing into the world. It's my responsibility to give it every chance I can to be successful, which is what I intend to do. So I do this. I've been very, very successful with assist and force feeding. Of all the babies over the last 5 years I've had to do this with, I've only had one that did not make it. And that animal assist fed and actually started feeding on its own, and then still didn't make it later on for whatever reason. Everything else that survived and done fine. We're looking like we might make a little progress here. The longer it sits with it in its mouth without completely kicking it out, the better chance we have of it just starting to work its way down. That's a good motion. See, with their teeth being recurve design, they're built to do this. So they almost will do it, you know, on their own once you get it started pretty good. It's the way the mechanics of the muscles and the jaw work. So they have to fight the natural mechanics to kick it out. So all this kind of big gaping yawning, if you notice a lot of times when he does that, unless he backs up like that, it ends up going in further. Really cool shot of the inside of the mouth though. And I think we actually made it in a little further that time. So this is assist feeding. Hopefully we will not have to force. Now I will not move the snake till it's completely swallowed and down, and we'll stay with it the whole time. It won't be the most talky of my videos, I'm sure. But I want you to see what happens. You know, come on, nom nom nom. That tastes good. And I think we're going to be successful on the first try today, guys. It's going to be a long process to swallow, because what he's really doing is, or she's really not wanting to swallow this, but she's swallowing it anyway. So, you know, and again, part of that's mechanics. Now, hopefully what you'll see is as that kind of breaks through and starts going down, she'll quit doing the big gaping and start being like, oh, this is food, this is okay. And like she's doing now. And that is a really good sign, because when they start doing that normal chomp, 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 without the big wide gaping and everything else, then they're starting to make the decision that, hey, I should eat this. I want to eat this. This is something I need to do. And typically I find when you can assist feed a snake like this, you may have to do it once or twice, sometimes even 3 times, and after that they'll start eating on their own for you. So it's really, you know, really a good sign. Force feeding tends to take a little longer to get them ready, but assist feeding, if they figure it out on that, they're better. And see, that is the exact motion you want. She's going to swallow that now, and so that is awesome. Come on, baby girl, finish it up for me. And that is her first meal, and she's probably, I don't know, 3 weeks old to a month. She's probably about a month old. I'd have to look at the exact hatch date. The issue comes in that, you know, I mean, it varies by time. You know, people always, well, when do you start? When will you assist feed? Well, that completely depends on the size of that snake and everything else, and how well it's doing, and did it absorb all its yolk, and what was its weight at birth, and, you know, how does it look compared to its siblings? Is it starting to kind of get the loose skin look, which this one was? And you can see she's not used to using those muscles yet, but she is actively swallowing it on her own. And there it's going, down the tube. Nom nom nom, right, baby girl? And what you want to do is when this starts, you don't want to move them because she can reverse that, and if anything spooks her, she likely will. So we're going to let her get that all the way down, all the way into her stomach, and then, and only then, will I move her back into the rack. But if we don't do things like this as breeders, you know, you can lose a life. And I'll be honest, I mean, I'm not going to speak to what other people do. You have to ask them. But for me, it doesn't matter if it's an albino, if it's, you know, a multi-gene plus recessive snake, or a simple normal. If it needs this kind of care, I'm going to give it this kind of care. I've assist-fed normals many times, and it's all about the fact that they wouldn't be here if I didn't make the choices I make. So therefore, I feel responsible to give them the best possible care I can. That's the way I believe in things. I would like to think that's the way most people who do this also believe, but you know, I don't know for sure, so, but I imagine so. All right, well, this is finishing up. Jen's still in here. Erin, our question girl, stepped out. She struggles with the assist feeding. Just something she can't watch too easy. Jen, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, what about you, Kurt? You got any questions while we're watching this one finish swallowing? All right, guys, we're just going to kind of sit here and finish. If you look in the shot, I'm kind of seeing what the camera's seeing now, you can see that being worked down and through. That is a really good sign. And there's nothing but tail sticking out the mouth. There you go. And that is how we make that work. But again, we're going to sit here and let that get all the way down to the belly. Yeah. Because once it's in the belly, her chances of throwing it in reverse when I put her back away are a lot less. Right now, she still could, and I don't really want her to do that. Slow and steady wins the race. The funny part is you can see her contracting right before it. Like, she's still kind of learning what she's supposed to do and how this is supposed to work. But if you can imagine if your first meal was the entire size of your head, I mean, I couldn't imagine that. Come on, keep on moving. Right, and there, we're working it down still. Good job. Good job. And she still has some coconut in her mouth. I'm not even going to worry about that. If it's a problem when I check her tomorrow, I might, but I don't want to do anything that's going to make her lose that meal. She just went through a hell of a lot of stress. This is not easy on them to do. That's why I'm really happy it went good the first try. Oh, she'll likely get that coconut out on her own. That coconut, though, if she swallows some, will not hurt her at all. All right. She has about got that all the way down. Gorgeous, 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 right? So what you guys don't realize is we decided to go ahead and do this right after we filmed the clutch update video and not wait till next week. I just thought, you know what, we're here, the camera's here. And the problem comes in, as Kurt said, this is something we should film for a very long time. But usually when I do things like this, it's not like we're all sitting here with the camera ready to go. It's just the routine type care things that we provide. So I thought, hell, we got it all here. Now would be the time to show that, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, you know, you learned a few things on it. So I know the first time I did this, I was scared shitless. So if you ever have to do this, what I can tell you is it'll likely be okay. I got through it, and now it doesn't make me nervous to do. But you will be nervous the first time you do it. I mean, it's just kind of how it works. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, I'm going to put this snake back now that it's in her belly. We're still going to be very, very gentle with her. So she can go back in a dark hole, sit on the heat, and let that thing digest. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next week.